Aloha, I am Dave Duffin and I'm pleased to present test number 2, which is General Corrective Work Order and Tasks. Now, this is for the foreman only, so if you're a technician listening to this, you're probably wasting your time because there's a lot of items we will cover in here that are not part of your job and you don't even have access to. So let's get started. In front of you, you will see that we have a list of items we will cover in this training. I am not going to give you the go through them now, but step by step I will revert back to this list so you can follow along. The first thing we will do is generate a new corrective work order. So if we get into the system, which we are here, the way you generate a work order is to click on the top menu, Maintenance, and the side menu, Work Orders, which is where we're at. And right here you will have a button that says Create. Go ahead and click that. Next, you'll need to choose what work order type it is. Now, 99% of the time you will choose Corrective Work Order, and then click OK. Now, a corrective work order is anything that you see needs to be done. The other work order types are for other special situations. Okay? So, that's the first one. Next, populate all required fields. Once again, as we covered in the request training, required fields have a little star next to it called an asterisk. So I will create a pretend work order. Saw some stuff that needs cleaning. Okay? This is me as a foreman creating a work order for my men or for another foreman. Next, I'm going to select what it is. In this case, it would be custodial. And here in the request description is where I can elaborate, and that's actually the next step, number 3. Lots of clutter behind the MIS building. Okay. Now I need to indicate where this issue is. PCC, admin area, and old admin building MIS. Okay. So we are done with steps 2 and 3. Populate all required fields and write a request description. Next is number 4, reassign to another foreman. To do that, see this box that says foreman responsible? I'm going to click in that and it gives me a list of all the other foremen that I can assign to. I will select the name I want to reassign to. In this case, I'll select myself, David Duffin, and then I come down here and click this button, Assign or Reassign. And that's it. It did it behind the scenes. Now, the next item on my list is to reassign yourself back to the work order. So I'm going to do that now by following the same steps. I'm going to find Roland DeMooney. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click Assign or Reassign. Now that is done. Next step, attach a file, any file. The way you attach a file is you go down here to View, Upload Documents. And once you're in here, you can see this Upload button at the top. Go ahead and click on that, and you'll be able to browse your files. Select anything you want. It can be a picture, it can be a Word document, whatever you need to do. And go ahead and find that and click Open. Okay? After you've done that, it finds it and displays the pathway to that file here, and if you click OK, it actually at that point uploads the document as you see here. And that is how you upload a document into a work order. Okay? The next item is assign a technician, who would be yourself, and assign technician as a staff member. Alright, I am going to do that. And the way you do that is you go down here to the bottom where it says Assign Technician and click on that. Now, if you don't click anything, it will go to your crew. However, if you want to specify a certain person, you can type their name in this box and click OK. I want to see my whole crew as Roland, so I'm going to click OK without typing anything there. You can see everybody that Roland's responsible for came up. In this case, I'm going to select David Lau as my technician, my crew technician, and I am going to select myself as well. And then I'll come down here and click OK. What that did is it loaded David Lau and Roland DeMooney onto the work order as executors. It also gave them a labor box for them to input their hours. Next item, set plan time and submit. This is an optional item, but you got to know how to do it, and that is right here, planned hours. This is the opportunity for the foreman to set an expectation for their men. Perhaps the foreman has done this many times, and he knows that a specific task will take, I don't know, say an hour and a half. And he can set that as an expectation. Whoops. However, this is useful because if the technician comes back and says it took a half hour, the foreman would know something's going on. If the technician came back and said it took 5 hours, he would also know something's going on, and it becomes a very valuable tool for the manager. Okay? So with the time here, you are ready to submit this work order. And the way you would do that is click this button right here. Okay, next, navigate to task list. Find the task to start work on your previously created work order and execute or perform the task. The way we do that is we go up here, top menu, home, and then side menu, tasks. Here you can filter if you like, if you know exactly what work order or what task you want to get to, but generally you'll just click OK to get to the whole unfiltered list. You'll notice at the top is the work order that we worked on together. Okay? Now, under this column header that says task, you'll notice it says start work. You'll also see over here for status, you'll see it's in assigned status. So this is where many of the technicians and foremen will operate all day long. They'll look here, they'll see what work orders they have dropped into their queue, what they need to do, what's pending, and right here, if you go to the underlined section, you'll get a little pointing hand, and that means that will allow you to link into that work order by clicking on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm back in the work order, right where we were, and I need to start work. This is an easy step. All you do is come down here to where it says start work and click once. Okay. Now I am in work in progress, and I need to put a work order on hold and then resume work after it's been on hold. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now the way I do that is I have to put notes into this box, the on hold cancel comments box. If I don't do that, the system will give me an error and say you can't move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and say something like waiting on parts. Okay, and then I can click down here where it says on hold, and it will load the work order and put it in an on hold status. This box right here that I keep referring to is the current status of the work order, and it is on hold. Okay. Next, I'm going to resume work, and the way I would do that is right here. Click resume work. The work is in progress again, and I'm back where I began before I put it on hold. Next, I need to input labor, hours, and date, then end work. To do that, I come back down to my labor, where I was before. See this section that says labor? And I in these boxes I put the actual time I worked. So I'm going to presume that David Lau, because he was awesome, worked 1 hour. I'm going to presume that Roland provided minimal oversight to make sure it happened, and that was in the tune of a half hour. Now the time needs to go in half-hour increments, okay? We don't want you drilling down to the millisecond because that's a waste of time. So round up, round down, do what you got to do, but half-hour increments will generally be okay. Okay? Now you need to put in the date of labor. That is this box here. You have two tools here. This one right here, as you can see, says now when I hover over it. If I click that, it loads right now into that box. It's very handy if you're putting your time into your work orders the exact same day you did it. However, you can also use the other function there that says calendar. So for Roland, I'm going to go to yesterday and click that day. Now a couple items here. You do have arrows here that jump between the months. Okay. You can run a drop-down list here. You can drop down to various years. There's a lot of ways to navigate around this thing. It's pretty simple. You click the day you want and then click close, and it's loaded into that box. Now with the date, with the time entered and the dates loaded, I am ready to end work. Okay, so we did number 13, now we're on number 14. This puts the work order in a review step for the foreman to either reject or approve the work. We're going to presume that the work order, that the manager, Roland, did not like what he saw. So he could put a note here that says, looks okay, but you need to clean up even better. The Prince of Tonga will walk by that spot. Okay? And he can click down here where it says reject. This gives it's back in work in progress, as you see, and this gives the person the opportunity to correct the work. And we're going to assume it's same day. Let's say he goes back and David Lau spent another half-hour cleaning. So I'm going to change that to 1.5. And since it's the same day, I don't need a separate labor line. However, if it was a separate day he returned, you would need a separate labor line. And I will cover that in a different training. Okay? So he's going to change his time, say, I did a better job, and click end work. Now you'll notice all these notes I've been typing drop into a notes section and have the person who typed it and the date and at what status the work order was in when the notes were given, and it stacks it up there. Okay, so now at this point I'm on my last step. I corrected work deficiency and added note and then clicked end work. Now I'm on number 16, which is navigate to task list and approve work for this work order. So I'm going to go out to the task list just like I did earlier, and it wants me to review work. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click link into it by clicking here, and I am going to click approve. And you'll notice that task is no longer on my list. I have completed my work, and it will not bug me from my task list anymore. This concludes my training for test number 2 on general corrective work orders and tasks. I look forward to seeing you in the next training. Thank you.